I want to show you two methods of hidden fixings to attach your decking board to the decking frame. The first are these hidden clips, and the second, these little timber plugs. Now before you get started, you need to work out exactly what you need. Now for the boards, work out the width of your deck, divide by the width of the boards, times the length. For the clips and the plugs, or one pack, will roughly cover about 20 square metres. So just like starting any project, starting on the right foot is very important. With the starter board here, a couple of things we need to consider. The first, I don't want to jam this up straight against the wall. I want to leave about 3 or 4 millimetre gap. The second thing, you notice here that these boards are random length. Now random length means that when you order a pack of boards, the lengths are going to vary. Now in this case, the board is overhanging the joist here and it's in the centre of the space. I don't want to be joining up my other board against here with no support. What I need to do here is cut this board back to the centre of this joist, so then I've got support under both ends of the joist. Here I'm going to use a face fixing, we'll use the plug, and then for the next board, we'll use the clip. I'm just marking the centre of the joist here so I can cut this decking board to length. Now as an alternative option, you can add a second joist here up against the existing one. Then you can cut your board back to the length of the centre of these two joists. So when it comes to cutting the boards, there's a couple of things we need to talk about. Now you've got two options. You can set up your miter saw or use your circular saw here. If you're going to use the circular saw, a good tip is to set your base plate height so the blade is only protruding slightly thicker than the thickness of the board. And don't forget your safety gear. You need your safety glasses, your earplugs or earmuffs, and make sure your work is securely clamped. Your hand or your foot is not the clamp is the clamp. So I'm all set up, ready to cut my first board. I've got my board clamped securely in place, I've got my safety gear ready, and I've got my speed square here. What I normally do here is hold the square up against my board and then run my saw along the speed square. That gives me a perfect square cut every time. Now I'm ready to install the starter board. Now our first method of fixing is going to be the plug method. Now it's made our life a lot easier with this drill and drive kit. It comes with a handy little attachment. It has a pilot bit here and a counterbore. Now a counterbore is essentially a recess that we're going to drill to about 9 to 10 millimetres deep. Then we drive the screw into that recess and then we fill the recess with a plug, cut it off, sand it nice and flush, and you'll hardly notice. Before I start drilling, just another little tip for you. I've measured 30 millimetres in from the edge of the board. Now because we're joining two boards on one joist, I want to angle my drill in slightly towards the centre of the joist. That way I get better fixing. That's about 9 or 10 mil deep. Now how do you know what 9 or 10 mil deep is? Well, what I do, I just stop drilling when I get to the bottom of the cutout here. Now the good thing about this attachment is I just pull this sleeve forward, flip this around, and then I'm ready to drive my screws. When it comes to driving the screws, use your drill driver. Don't be tempted to use an impact driver. Use your drill driver on low gear and set the clutch setting correctly. So that's the screws done. Let's just talk about the plugs. Now these hardwood plugs are tapered. Now what tapered means, essentially it's on a slight angle. So one end is wider than the other. So when you insert the plug into the hole, just make sure that the narrow end goes first. All you simply do is just apply some glue around the plug, push it into the hole. Now what I like to do is align the grain of the plug parallel with the grain of the board. It's a bit of a detail thing, but why not? Well, that's the plug method done. Just let that glue dry and sand off the excess. Now we can talk about our second method, these deck-wise clips. Now they're a flat clip that simply slide into the groove of the board. They have these lugs here at the bottom that provides an even spacing. It has a hardened stainless steel insert. They're rust-free and they'll last a lifetime. Now typical plugs on the market don't have that insert and they tend to be a lot weaker. Now you simply slide that plug into the groove and then we'll set up for drilling. Now while I'm talking about these 2-in-1 drill bits, in the kit you have replacement drill bits and driver bits. you simply use an Allen key to release this screw here. Now if you lost your Allen key, well don't worry about that because that's covered as well. Here's an Allen key at the end. Simply undo that, take the bit out, put the nice new sharp one in, and away you go. Now I've got my starter board in place, fixed off with the plugs, and I've got all my clips in position. Now when you're driving the screws into the clip, don't be tempted to overdrive the screw, because what may happen is you might fold the clip down a bit, and that'll just make the next board even harder to get in. Just slide that in position. Don't be tempted to smash this edge with a hammer, because you're only going to damage it. If you're going to use a hammer, use an offcut of a board or a piece of timber to hit that in place, or alternatively you can use a dead blow or a soft face mallet. Well, that's the deck done using our DeckWise deck clip system. Now with the last board, you need to treat that exactly the way we did the starter board, that is with the plug and screw method. Alternatively, you can use the plug method for the entire surface of the deck. Either way though, once you're done, give the whole deck a good sand and then apply a coat and maintenance program with your preferred finish.